Over the past 5 seasons, Robert Lewandowski has always been in the conversation as one of the best strikers in the world. Why is that? The sheer number of goals? His elegance and athleticism on the pitch? Maybe both. But how did his childhood in Lech, Poland, hardships and all, shape him to become the unique striker that he is today?
What's up? I'm Adrian and I'll answer all of that and more in this deep dive into the early life and the subsequent career of Robert Lewandowski. We have a ton more player documentaries just like this one, as well as much more content coming out regularly on this channel. So be sure to subscribe if you want to help us out. Okay? Back to it. And go easy on me with the Polish pronunciations. My Canadian mouth isn't great at Polish gymnastics.
Born on the 21st of August 1988 in Warsaw, Poland, Robert Lewandowski grew up in the city of Lech, west of his city of birth. His mother, Iwona, played volleyball at the highest level in Poland, while his father, Krzysztof, was a European judo champion. His sister Milena followed in the footsteps of her mother, and even went on to play for the Polish under-21 national volleyball team.
As a kid, Robert's father always encouraged him to play many different sports, and not just to focus solely on football. His reasoning for this was, of course, that if you diversify the sports you play, then you diversify the movements that your body gets used to making. In Bobek's case, as his friends and family called him when he was young, gymnastics went a long way in helping him with his football technique. When he was 8 years old, his father signed him up with MKS Varsovia Warsaw, in turn, signing himself up for a 2-hour drive each way to every single training session. Though you know him now as an athletic, tall striker, Bobek didn't hit his first growth spurt for a long time, and was one of the smaller kids on the Varsovia team. But that didn't stop him from scoring many goals for the Warsaw outfit. In fact, in a particularly dominant season, Varsovia scored 158 goals, with Lua himself scoring just over half of them.
Towards the tail end of his time with Varsovia, when Lua was 16, his father passed away due to a lengthy battle with illness. From then, there was a marked change in his determination to become a pro footballer. With his father gone, he made it a priority to go pro in order to be able to supply for his mother and sister, promising his mother that he would make it. In 2005, after 7 great years at Varsovia, Robert received an offer from his late father's favorite club, Legia Warsaw. But to Bobek, things didn't seem quite right. Quote, "I wasn't keen on joining Legia Warsaw. I don't know why, I just didn't want to go there. In my heart of hearts, I didn't feel like they were the right club for me at that time." Regardless, he ended up signing with the club, which happens to be the biggest in Poland. Playing with the reserve team, the coaching staff still believed that he was far too underdeveloped physically, and feared he wouldn't cut it when he made the jump to the first team.
Well, his fate was sealed when a lengthy injury kept him off the training pitch for an extended amount of time. Not willing to be patient with the young striker and frankly, not seeing any potential in him, Legia released Lewandowski after just a year at the club. According to his agent, Cezary Kucharski, who himself captained Legia at one time, the rejection from the Polish Giants only focused Lua's determination to succeed even more. In fact, according to Kucharski, Legia weren't the first club to turn him down, with no Ekstraklasa or even second division clubs interested in signing the future starlet. Insecurity, anxiety, and sadness began to creep into Robert's day-to-day life, until his mother decided to take things into her own hands. Speaking with his last coach from Varsovia, Marek Trawicki, Iwona managed to convince Robert to sign with 3rd division club Znitz Pruszków, ensuring him that it wouldn't be a step back in his career.
So, at the age of 18 and still recovering from injury, he signed on with the 3rd division club. In the 06-07 season, Lewandowski led the league with 15 goals, helping Znitz Pruszków secure promotion to the Polish 2nd division. With increasingly more eyes on the young striker, he was the Polish 2nd division's leading goal scorer, with 21 goals from 32 league appearances at just 19 years of age.
Remember how I said no teams in the top 2 flights were interested in signing Lewandowski after he was released from Legia? Well, you can imagine how times had changed after 2 seasons with Znitz. With offers from all the top teams in Poland and even some from abroad, though he was rejected when offered to Sporting Gijon, Robert signed with Lech Poznan in June of 2008 for 1.5 million zloty. If you were to convert that now, it would be around 350,000 euros.
He made a fairly immediate impact for Poznan, making his debut in a UEFA Cup qualifier against Kazar Lenkoran, and marking the occasion with a goal. In his Polish Ekstraklasa debut, Lewandowski came on as a late substitute, and 4 minutes later, scored a spectacular backheeled flick in what was ultimately a 3-2 loss to GKS Bełchatów. In that first season, Lech finished in 3rd, won the Polish Cup, and 20-year-old Robert was the team's top scorer with 21 goals across all competitions.
In his second season, he led the league with 18 goals, adding 4 assists to his tally, helping Poznan win the Ekstraklasa title, as well as the Polish Super Cup. As if teams weren't interested enough in this young Polish striker, his 2 seasons in the Polish top flight not only proved that Legia were wrong about him, but that he was the real deal. According to his agent Kucharski, he and Robert had always said that Germany would be their next stop in building his career. And sure enough, offers from Germany arrived, with Borussia Dortmund sealing his signature in June of 2010 with a reported fee of around 4.5 million euros. In a new country, understanding a new language, with a completely different atmosphere to try to get used to, Lewandowski was mainly utilized off the bench by Jurgen Klopp, who instead opted to play Lucas Barrios, as he was in great form. Coming on as a substitute, Lewandowski scored his first goal for the club on the 19th of September 2010 in the Riviera derby against Schalke 04. Which ended 3-1 in favor of Dortmund. After 14 match days, Robert made 14 substitute appearances, but still managed to score a total of 4 goals along the way. On match day 15 of the 2010-2011 season, he finally got to start a match, this time against FC Nuremberg, scoring late in a 2-0 win. But in the next match, as would be the trend, he was back on the bench. Regardless of that, he finished his first season in Germany as a champion, with 8 goals from 33 Bundesliga appearances, the majority of which were substitute appearances. Though he was frustrated with his lack of playing time and felt as though Klopp wasn't keeping his promise of tons of first-team football, he continued to work hard for Dortmund, and in the 2011-2012 season, everything would change.
First choice Lucas Barrios suffered an injury, making Lewandowski the first choice striker. He scored his first Bundesliga hat-trick against FC Augsburg on October 1st, 2011, also assisting on Mario Götze's goal in a 4-0 win. Due to his strong performances leading up to the winter break, he was named the Polish Player of the Year in 2011, and he didn't let up in the second half of the season either. Scoring 22 goals and finishing third in league scoring, he helped Dortmund defend their German league title. The icing on the cake, in the DFB Pokal final, Lewandowski scored a hat-trick in a 5-2 thrashing of Bayern Munich. He was the DFB Pokal's top scorer with 7 goals from 6 appearances.
He picked up where he left off, setting a club record of scoring in 12 consecutive matches both domestically and in Europe. Speaking of Europe, he became the first player ever to score 4 goals in a Champions League semi-final as he helped Dortmund past Real Madrid. In the final, however, Bayern exacted their revenge and Dortmund lost 2-1. In total, he managed to score 36 goals from 48 appearances.
Earlier in February of that same season, Borussia Dortmund director Michael Zorc delivered the bad news that Lewandowski wouldn't be renewing his contract and would either be sold at the end of the season or would leave the club on a free after the following season. Speaking of the next season, in November of 2013, Lewandowski confirmed that he would be signing a pre-contract agreement with Bayern Munich, making this his last season with Dortmund. Though it was his worst season of his final 3, he still managed to score 28 goals from 48 appearances, as Dortmund finished second and lost the DFB Pokal final 2-0 to his future club, Bayern Munich. Though fans were sad to see him go, there wasn't much animosity towards Lua, as he remained transparent, committed, and willing to fight for the club while he wore the black and yellow of Dortmund.
After a somewhat slow start in Germany in which Lewandowski had many doubters, he was now the hottest striker in the Bundesliga and was unveiled as a Bayern Munich player on July 9th, 2014. His competitive debut for Bayern must have been a tough pill to swallow, as his new team suffered a 2-0 loss to Dortmund in the German Super Cup. His first goal, and in turn his first Bundesliga goal for the Bavarian Giants, came on August 30th, 2014 against Schalke, just as he'd scored his first Bundesliga goal for Dortmund against Schalke.
Speaking of which, in the next 3 occasions in which Lewandowski would face his former team, he would score against them every time. First, on November 1st, 2014, sending Bayern 4 points clear at the top, while Dortmund was in the relegation zone. Second, in April of 2015, scoring the winner in a 1-0 win. In the third, however, in the DFB Pokal semi-final, though he would score against Dortmund again, Borussia won the match via a shootout to advance to the final. He finished his first season at Bayern as the league's joint second highest scorer with 17, and scored 25 goals in all competitions.
In the 2015-16 season, he cemented his place as one of the elite strikers in Europe, as under Pep Guardiola, Bayern Munich won their 4th title in a row. In a season full of outrageous goals and highlights from the Polish striker, the most awe-inspiring came on September 22nd, 2015 against Wolfsburg.
After going 1-0 down, Guardiola brought Lewandowski on as a halftime substitute. 6 minutes into the half, he scored. A minute later, in the 52nd minute, he scored again. Then again in the 55th minute to complete the fastest Bundesliga hat-trick ever. He wasn't finished there though, scoring in the 57th and 60th for a total of 5 goals, setting a Bundesliga record for the most goals scored by a substitute. 5 goals in just 9 minutes. Guardiola's face says it all. And this wasn't against some relegation fodder. Bayern, well, mainly Lua's, 5-1 victory over Wolfsburg snapped their 14-match unbeaten streak. He followed that up with a brace against Mainz, then with a hat-trick against Dinamo Zagreb in the Champions League, and then another brace against his former club, Borussia Dortmund. His goals against Wolfsburg and Mainz ensured that he reached 10 goals in his first 7 match days, a feat which had only previously been done by club legend Gerd Müller. In total, however, Lewandowski had scored 12 goals in just 4 appearances.
That season, he finished as the league's top goal scorer, who would have guessed, with 30 goals, becoming the first foreign player ever to reach that mark in the Bundesliga. He also managed to score 9 goals in the Champions League that season, though Bayern crashed out in the semi-finals thanks to Atletico Madrid. After all was said and done, he'd scored 42 goals from 51 appearances. Not bad, I guess. The following season, Lua opened the Bundesliga with a hat-trick on the first match day against Werder Bremen. He continued his purple patch and scored his 100th goal for Bayern after just 137 appearances for the club on March 11th, 2017, in a 3-0 win against Eintracht Frankfurt. And in the 2017-18 season, he's on track to have one of his best goal hauls yet. But he's also put up numbers at the international level. On October 5th, 2017, he scored a hat-trick against Armenia to become Poland's all-time top goal scorer. He finished the 2018 World Cup qualification campaign with 16 goals, which was a new record for European qualifiers.
So, are you sold yet? If the numbers don't do the talking for you, then you need just watch Lewandowski play to see that he is cut above the rest of the world, to see that he is completely unique. Neither a hulking force of physicality nor a smaller, skillful striker, Lewandowski is a perfect hybrid of both, with his previous gymnastics training allowing him to move and approach the ball differently than any other striker in the world. And now, in his prime on both the club and international stage, he'll be looking to continue to dominate the best striker in the world conversation in the foreseeable future. Does a World Cup title for Poland seem to be a stretch? Perhaps, but with Bobek in your squad, anything can happen.
I thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you enjoyed this extensive look into the life and career of Robert Lewandowski. If you did, do us a favor and hit that subscribe button, and I'll hopefully see you in the next video. Peace!